Whenever my grandmother descended into the depths of the sea, I could never understand how she returned, alive, unharmed, and serene. Each time, I watched the ocean with trembling eyes, haunted by the thought that she might never rise again, that I might lose her to the waves. Yet she would always tell me the same thing: the sea is my sky. When I reach its depths, it feels as though I am soaring to the highest heavens. One who wishes to fly but fears the fall should never take flight at all. And if I were afraid of dying beneath the water, I'd better remain on land and never dare to call myself a lover of the sea. Do it properly. Where's your focus? I'm talking to you. Keep up with the rhythm. The sharp voice of Coach Park snapped me out of the distant, childlike world I drifted into, hurling me back into the training hall. I had no idea when or why. My thoughts had wandered to my grandmother and her words, especially in the middle of class. Maybe it was because my mind was searching for a reason to keep pushing forward, not an excuse to give up. Those who fear to fly should never reach for the skies. I was here to touch the clouds. Earth was never meant for me. With renewed focus, I tried to follow the movements exactly as the coach demonstrated. I must admit, among all the things required to become an idol, singing was what I loved the most. Dancing, on the other hand, I had no choice but to learn it well, too. After a few failed attempts, I could feel Coach Park's sharp, disapproving gaze fixed on me. For a moment, my body froze, overcome by that familiar stiffness that always crept in when I got nervous. I knew better than anyone how much I wanted to master that dance, with all its strange, difficult moves. What puzzled me was why she insisted on making us perform such an advanced routine on the very first day. The choreography was so complex that even the most famous idols would have struggled to pull it off perfectly on their first try. Coach, could you please show us the moves one more time? You only did them once, and we haven't quite gotten the hang of it yet. The voice came from a small-framed boy with pale skin and a round face barely larger than an orange. His big, wide eyes stared nervously at the coach as he spoke, his tone trembling with fear. You could tell it had taken all his courage just to get those words out. Miss Park shot up from her chair, which she rarely left, and strode toward him as if ready for an attack. Standing face to face, she was about 5 centimeters taller. Her piercing eyes locked onto his timid ones before scanning him from head to toe. Aren't you the one who fell on your face during the first audition? Who told you you could be an idol? Who even let you in here? If you can't keep up, you should walk yourself out. Why were you accepted in the first place? The boy's voice trembled, a lump forming in his throat as he said, "Coach, that day the floor was slippery. I think someone had spilled water before we started." Her scream cut through his words, silencing him completely. Don't make excuses. If you're a good dancer, you can perform even on ice. Amid her shouting, a familiar voice rose from behind. I think Coach Park's right. We really should work harder if we want to stop being amateurs and become real idols. His tone made my blood boil. Seriously, what a teacher's pet. Fine, we all knew he adored the coach. But did he have to throw the rest of us under the bus to earn her approval? He must have noticed the angry, questioning looks he was getting from me and the others, because he quickly forced a nervous smile, trying to smooth things over. I mean, we can help each other out. Like, if one of us is good at something, they can teach the others. For example, I'm pretty good at dancing, so I can help the ones who learn slower. Even though his tone still carried a trace of arrogance, I had to admit he wasn't entirely wrong. It wouldn't hurt to help each other out. I, for one, definitely needed someone to show me how to pull off those exhausting moves. Coach Park's eyes lingered on him, her lips curling slightly. Well, you seem quite confident in yourself. What was your name again? He looked absolutely thrilled just to have her attention. You could tell from his wide grin and the row of perfectly even teeth it revealed. Moon Tan, ma'am. We've actually met before. Well, I was the first person you met when you came in today. And, my brother Jiho, too. Then he pointed toward me. I must have looked utterly bewildered by his overwhelming confidence. The coach shot me a brief glance, then turned back to Tan as if I weren't even there. All right then. From now on, you'll be the one teaching them the moves. But remember, if they make even the smallest mistake, it's on you. She turned toward the rest of us, her voice rising almost to a shout. Come on, get moving. Stay with the rhythm. Don't you dare fall out of sync. The music started up again, filling the room, and all the trainees hurried to their places. This time, Tan, following the coach's orders, kept a sharp eye on everyone, ready to correct any mistakes in their movements. If I'm being honest, his suggestion had been a sensible one. The trainees were now dancing with much more confidence. It was obvious he loved dancing with every fiber of his being, just as I loved singing. I could spend hours locked away in the vocal room practicing, but being here, forced to dance, was another story. One of the moves required us to leap upward right as the music soared, then land in perfect sync when the rhythm slowed down again. I hated that part. It drained every ounce of energy from me, and each time, I felt as if my leg bones were about to snap. My eyes drifted toward the clock on the table, silently counting down the minutes until practice would finally end, when suddenly, the heavy thud of something hitting the floor made my head snap in that direction.